Las Vegas has always been one of the places to get away to. In fact, on some weekends, the crowded sidewalks of the Strip almost feel like a mob scene. But this isn't the mob scene that got Las Vegas started. It's here at the Mob Museum and a rogues gallery of early pioneers.
So this is our wall of 100 years of made men and their associates. It's not a hall of fame per se, but what it does do is give the visitor insight into particular individuals. On this wall we have mobsters that go way back to the turn of the century, and some of the most notable names that people like Al Capone or more contemporary Vinny the Chin or John Gotti.
The mob has always had a wide reach. Just look at this map made of drugs, cigarettes, and other illicit trade items that goes far beyond Las Vegas. And it has been a battle.
We don't romanticize or sensationalize organized crime. If anything, we celebrate the heroic acts of law enforcement. But obviously, it's a topic that is very interesting to people and has such a profound part of popular culture.
The Mob Museum walks you through the words and often violent deeds of organized crime and the law enforcement efforts to stop it. Some of the technology seems pretty antiquated now, but it did the job in its day, and visitors can actually hear the results.
And this is a great thing about the museum, is you actually get to engage in interactive exhibits that let you, for example, hear wiretaps that were used as evidence in different hearings, or explore other types of surveillance equipment. And you can see how this technology has changed over time.
The Mob Museum is interesting and interactive. This game-like board is a fun way to learn more about the mob and early days of Las Vegas, and other exhibits give you the real feel of being a mobster without being on the wrong side of the law. In fact, after spending some time here, it seems like the whole city was once more mob scene than mainstream.
And all of those initial resort properties that were created were run by organized crime.
The Mob Museum opened just a couple of years ago, and it's not an accident that it's in the old Las Vegas post office. A lot of the trials you learn about here took place here, in the courtrooms on the upper floors. One of the most famous events here was the government's Kefauver hearings, which captivated the entire nation in the early days of television.
It was the first opportunity that the general public had to see these really kind of seedy criminal characters firsthand.
Not surprisingly, the mob wasn't just a man's world, and Las Vegas had more than its share of gun malls, as women gangsters were once known. One of the most recent female mobsters added to the Wall of Shame, as it's known, is Griselda Blanco, known to many as the godmother of cocaine. And one of the weird things about the Mob Museum, you might be standing there reading about a mobster and then realize he's standing there with you.
We've had people like Henry Hill who's come by. Henry Hill has passed away since. But other individuals like Frank Collada, who is a member of the Hole in the Wall gang, and members of, people will show up and let us know that they're actually in the Black Book, which is the list of excluded persons, people that are not permitted to go into casinos, but they, of course, are always welcome at the Mob Museum.
And what better way to wrap up your visit to the Mob Museum than by walking across the street to the Mob Bar in the Grand Hotel, and maybe sip on a smoking gun, or maybe a Sicilian kiss, and we promise no mob scenes.